welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of Moc Advice. We hope you enjoy the show today. The mocs we'll be reviewing today fit into the category of the elements of the original 6 film. Anyway, just a few very quick announcements before we begin. We have a Mocpages group, just to remind you guys. Here is the link. So please request there if you don't have a YouTube and discuss some of the topics there. I'm sure you'll have a good time. Other thing about requesting, we need links. Some people are sending requests and just provide a link. Please send a link. It's just far easier for us and a far better chance being in the show if you do. Also, another thing with links, please don't send YouTube ones. We need pictures. Okay, that's all the announcements. Let's go, Caleb.
Alright, so today's mocks are Fulton, Toa of Earth by Kronos Omega, Zend, War Toa of Ice by Silent Hunt Productions, Onua Revamp by Toa Lycus, and finally, Lekron Toa of Air by Super Pikmin. Alright, so I'm going to start off with Fulton. So here is Fulton, Toa of Earth by Kronos Omega, and I have to say, he looks very nice. Really great uses of the HF armor throughout the mock, especially on the chest. Although I think my favorite part of the mock has to be the left prosthetic arm. It just looks really cool and very different from the bulkier right arm. And that's very good when building to complement the prosthetic look. Now, my only problems with this mock has gotta be that the blue, it really does look pretty nice on the mock, but he's supposed to be a Toa of Earth, and blue is a very water color. And it's a very interesting twist, but I don't know, I'm not sure it works the best for a Toa of Earth. But overall, he's quite an excellent mock. Kronos, great job.
Yeah, no, the prosthetics are great. They work very well for the mock. I love how he's done them. I especially like the really nice piece use of using that spring piece on the back of his lower leg. Nice little detail there that works quite well and aids in the prosthetic look. I also really like his torso. He's very nice use of some Hero Factory pieces, and it's got a really nice overall look there, which looks great. It also works quite well with the mask as well. The thing I'm not the biggest fan of is his knees stick out quite a fair bit, especially with the prosthetic leg, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think he could dye that down a little bit. The other thing I'm really not the biggest fan of as well is that spike that's sticking out of his leg. It seems a little out of place to me. Other than that, this is a very nice mock from Kronos, and he's done very well. Great job.
So now on to our next mock, Zend, War Toa of Ice by Silent Hunt Productions. I really like the shaping of this mock. He just looks so agile despite some of the heavier armor that's on the lower legs, so he did a really good job with that. I also really like the tubes on him. I think they do contribute to the look and really looks very nice. The only things that I have a little problem with is the background colors. The light blue pieces in there. The light blue isn't bad, but there's not enough of it to really compensate as a color, so I think he could probably get rid of that. That and the red ball joints all over. They're just too small to contribute as a real part of the color scheme, so I would either recommend redoing the parts with black ball joints or just creating designs that don't use as many ball joints, because if you have a lot of red ball joints, you should use them on a red mock, or a mock that has red in the color scheme, because that looks so much better. But overall, this mock looks very nice. I really like it.
You know, I really love the silver in his colour scheme. It mixes with the white rather well, and I also like how that sort of aids the mask somehow. The other thing I really like is his pretty cool weapons. Something I'm not the biggest fan of is on his torso. I feel like that claw piece is kind of a different texture to the rest of his body, because his body's a very sort of smooth look, while that's very sharp and rough. That's probably not the best word, but I feel it'd be better to replace that piece with something more smooth to aid with the rest of his armor. And speaking of his armor, I do like how the armor's very buff, but his actual frame is rather skinny, and I think that's very cool and a kind of unique way to build a mock, which is very cool, and I really like how he's done that. Overall, this is a great mock.
Moving on to our third mock, Onua Revamp by Toa Lycus. This is a great representation of the original Onua Mata. I really love those claw designs, especially the use of the old, very large Toa Mata hands that they had. Just really looks good on those claws, and the claws just overall look really excellent. Another really good part to me is the use of the gray Rakshi feet on his upper legs. Just really looks buff and fills out his look. Really looks nice. The only things I might change on this guy would probably be the gear on his back. I really do like that, but it came across as a little weird looking in comparison to the original gear, so maybe working with that a little bit might make the gear look a little bit more like it did on the original figure. And the only other thing is on the lower legs. The 4-length technique lift arms kind of extend a bit out too much. and it just looks a little odd. So if I could, I'd change those to 3-length lift arms, and that would probably look a lot better. But overall, this guy's a really cool Moc. Really like it.
This is an amazing Moc. I love how he's kept the color scheme true to the original set, having the grey legs and all. That is very nice. I love how he's done that. I also like how he's incorporated a lot of new pieces into one of the older sets. I just love how that looks, and it works very well with the Moc. As for some of my cons, like Burial said, the back, he feels it should be a little more hunched like the set was, and I totally agree with Burial on that. I feel, though, if he does do that, he definitely needs to keep those gear functions he's put in there still there. I mean, the gear functions are just for show, but I really like that it's for nostalgia purposes, and I think you should definitely keep those. Another critique I have, the Borok weapons that are on the sides of his foot, I feel those kind of stick out a bit too much at the back, and I feel if you could somehow get those to be a little more streamlined with the back of the legs, possibly adding some cheese slopes to sort of ease it in there a bit, I think that would look really nice. Something else I really love with this Moc is how he subtly put in some of those system greebles, and he hasn't gone insane with them. It looks brilliant. This is an amazing Moc. I love it.
Now for our final Moc, we have Lekron, a toe of air created by Super Pikmin. And wow, he looks really cool. It seems like he takes the concept used for Rotor, the Hero Factory villain, and makes it 10 times better with this incredible color scheme on this really cool Moc. And it looks very, very cool. Although, the only things that kind of bother me would be the dark gray on this guy. It's kind of big on the thighs, and there are little hints of it throughout the rest of the Moc. So, if he could possibly change that to light gray or Mata green, that would look excellent. Another thing with the Mata green, though, it looks awesome, but it's not amazingly well distributed. I feel there's a little bit too much on the arms and not as much on the legs in comparison. So I think the best thing to do for this Moc would be to get rid of the dark gray on the upper legs and change it for a bit more silver and green. That would really help the color scheme in my opinion. But other than that, this guy's really, really pretty cool.
This is a great Moc from Super Pikmin. I really like the scythe. It's a very nice design, although it doesn't really flow and work that much with the Moc itself, but still, it's a very nice weapon. Some of my favourite parts of this Moc, other than the rotor idea, which is a very good idea, is the lower and upper arms. There's some nice piece uses there, although they may be a little bit cluttered. It does look really cool. Something else I really like is the hand. It's a design everybody uses, but it's funny because the hand seems slightly bigger, and it sort of reminds me of sort of like gloves that a pilot would wear, which works well with the rotors, and I think it's a very nice concept, and I really like that. As for the things I think would change, the upper legs, I agree with Caleb that they don't really work that well. I think it would be a really good idea to, again, replace the grey and put in maybe some Anika leg armor would look quite nice, possibly in silver with some green highlights would look really nice. I think that would work quite well. Also, something else I'm not the biggest fan of is the lower back of the waist. It's rather black there, and it kind of contrasts with the other colours of the Moc. Also, I think some green there would look quite nice, so I'd probably work on that a little bit if I were him, but overall this is a very nice Moc. Alright, time for the news segment of today's episode, the question and answers theme. So this week's question comes from Apoki Ihu, and the question states, what was the main inspiration for yourself, Mocs, in terms of design and character/personality? I don't know, I suppose for me, I just saw a lot of books on Mocpages, and they all had self-Mocs, and I thought I should probably make one for myself. And so when I was planning it out, I thought, I'm definitely going to give him Surge Lightning pieces, and oddly enough, originally he was going to be lime instead of Mata blue, and he would have a breeze mask. So when I went to the shops to buy Surge and Breeze, I only had enough money for one, so I thought, well, I want to see Surge weapons, so I bought Surge first. And I don't know, Surge's mask and colour scheme just stuck with me, and it eventually just evolved into Cossy. As for his character and personality, I don't know, I just sort of wrote that story for him and sort of kept evolving from there. I really have no idea where his character and personality came from, but I'm happy with the end result, so that's all that counts.
As for me, it was really not very touching or anything. My friend Shadow Toa started a mocking contest for building a self-mock, so I thought I needed a self-mock, so I built one. And all I had that was really a good mask for what my self-mock would be, Callan, was a red Ruru with the silver on it, so that's what I used. As simple as that. His story, I don't know, I always had him kind of like me, except I wanted him to be a little bit arrogant because he's fast, and I wanted to give him slightly stronger power over fire than anyone else. And so I started with the blue fire thingy, and then Ben took it. So yeah, that's really it.
Really? I didn't even know you had blue fire before me. Oh well, I made it better. Anyway, next week's category will be female mocs. So request away in either the Mocpages Group or personal messaging either Caleb or myself, and hopefully you will get it in the episode.
Also, said the editor is starting back a Galator Report, so go check out his new channel and subscribe if you want to see more.
Alright, hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a good day, guys. I'm Ben Cossy.
And I'm Callan and Ben.
See you guys.